Sunday. I will be wearing a Superman cape for this edition. Mainly because I can. And because I don't want you to take me seriously, except that I do. Or do I? Now what I really wanted to talk to you about was the idea, this is very much an anarchist idea, but it's more than that. It's just, really, it's just good sense. It's the idea that I always come first. Now, when I say I do mean me, but I also mean you. I mean, you have to come first to you at all times. Anytime that you put others before yourself, you better damn well have yourself under control first. Because you cannot handle other people's problems without having yours taken care of in the first place. I mean, it's just simple mathematics. You know, while some of her conclusions were shoddy, Ayn Rand's idea of this selfish first anarchy idea is valid, because if I am taking care of myself first, if I'm making sure that I have all my ducks in a row, if I'm making sure that my business is taken care of, my health is taken care of, my personal defense is taken care of, all of that, I am placing no burden, or at least much less of a burden, upon anyone else involved in the equation. You see, any time that you demand something from somebody else, you are taking away from their time, their life, and it, in the short run, may not seem like much. Well, I'm just asking you this one favor. Never mind the fact that that person most likely has other things they would like to be doing with their time. Never mind that that person may have other things they need to take care of. And so often we see the hero that sacrifices so much for so many others and then comes away, broken and bent and, unstable and everything, because they spent so much time caring for others they could not care for themselves in the first place. And it's really sad to see this nature of dependence growing, and it really is growing. Now, I will say this, we are all, in fact, interconnected. I mean, it's an undeniable fact. Society exists, we're social creatures. But if you expect others to take care of your business for you, you are, in fact, placing a burden on everybody else. Not just those you care about, but everybody else. By refusing to take care of things yourself, you are basically saying, well, look, somebody else is going to take care of it. And somebody will take care of it. And if they're nice and charitable, they'll give you some credit, or they'll give you, some support. And if they're not, they will take all the credit and leave you with less. And you don't want to be in that situation either. That's what government does. Government says, oh, look, we can help you out because you can't help yourselves, but look, we're going to be the ones in control. And I certainly disagree with that concept. I don't like that concept. But it's generally just the idea that take some goddamn responsibility for yourself. I mean, you're the only one that can live your life. You're the only one that can determine what in life is appropriate to you and that that suits you and your goals and whatnot in life. And that being the case, it's important that you take responsibility and action and control for yourself. Now, of course, once again, because we are social creatures, we do have to take each other into account. But only to a small degree. Really only to the degree of, are my actions placing undue burden on anybody else? If you are in partnership with somebody, it does you well to not betray the trust of that partnership or to place more burden on them. If you are not in partnership with anybody else, well, fuck them, do your thing. Generally speaking, though, there are two concepts, and this is one of the few areas that I agree with ethicist Bernard Gert on. There are two ideas, and that is do no harm and do not betray trust. He would say these are universal. I would say that universality is absolute and utter horseshit, and that they're just good rational ideas. But the idea is, if it's cost benefit. If you live your life according to the idea of a cost benefit analysis of what will do the most good for myself and all those involved, and how much will it cost, and does it balance out, or does it work out in my favor, then you are making wise choices, generally speaking. Charity being the only exception, where the cost may in fact be higher than the benefit directly to you, and that's a call that you can make on your own. Charity is, there's nothing wrong with charity. I mean, even hardcore anarchists will say that charity in and of itself is fine, it just needs to be voluntary. It is no charity at all if it is mandated. And I fully agree with that. I have no problem helping people out when I have the means. But understand that I always take care of me first. And you should be doing the same. You should always be taking care of you first. And that's the whole point of this. The cost-benefit analysis is excellent, but you have to understand that you're part of that equation too. And that when analyzing it, it is cost first, benefit second. Cost first because you have to understand what all is involved in the equation. Benefit is simply the outcome. There's lots of ways to get to the outcome, or a close approximation to the outcome. But the whole cost side of it is the more static side of it, is the more side, the side that tells you this is what is necessary to get to this benefit. Generally speaking, we'll use the classic example of theft. If I want to gain something, I can make it, I can purchase it, or I can steal it, provided it exists in the first place, right? Well, making oftentimes is more costly than we're willing to pay. Purchasing is usually the route that people go, but then some go with stealing as well. Stealing is extremely high risk, thus potentially very high cost. Purchasing is very low risk, and the cost is simply dependent on your value system. Making is oftentimes very taxing cost-wise. You're not going to get in trouble for making things, at least not in most cases. The government may, bitch at you for doing something without a permit, but fuck them. But making things oftentimes, depending on how well you value your time and resources, may not be worth it either. In fact, most entrepreneurs that I know of or follow will say that you just pay people to do the things that you don't want to do because it's going to take up less of your resources. It's the cost-efficient way to do things. Because everybody specializes in something different. Everybody is a cog. Everybody plays a role. And we can't all be everybody. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm a little bit of a DIY guy. So I like to make things, and sometimes even if it isn't worth my time just to have the experience and the fun of it and whatnot. Because for me, the benefit is, a kind of a flexible, multi-tiered system of benefits. But, what it really comes down to is your value system and cost benefit, and it comes down to the fact that are you yourself taking care of what needs to be taken care of in your life? If your time and other resources are extremely valuable, then don't do something high risk like theft that could end up taking all of your time and resources. Don't do something like DIY, which will eat up a lot of time and resources. You'll just want to purchase and partake in the trade system, and trade eventually is what actually builds society, so that's a good thing. But depending on your value system, you have to consider what is valuable to you and what is going to be beneficial to you, and always consider that first. It's always got to be you first. Because once again, it comes down to the very fact, how can you possibly do for others if you cannot do for yourself? It's really all it is. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I will talk to you guys next time. Good journey.